Douglas Cooling and Heating, serving the Birmingham area for 38 years. 988-3706. That's Douglas.
Ho, 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 I'm James Spann. This is the Christmas Eve edition of the Weather Xtreme video. Friday, 24th of December. We're going to a holiday schedule, so we'll be just doing one video per day, and this will be my last one for 2010. As I'll be taking some time off next week, but everybody's still talking about this Christmas snow here, so let's talk about it like everybody else. First off, the Skycam shot this morning. That's the view coming from the University of Montevallo in Shelby County. Clear and cold. Most spots are below freezing. Fayette up in northwest Alabama looking good, and down in Chilton County. Always nice seeing there coming from Clanton. Okay, you can see our system coming at us. We've got the southern part that's over West Texas. That's the one that produced all the chaos over Southern California. And a northern section that's coming through the Midwest, producing some light snow there. And again, around here, we're in good shape. It's cold. As cold as 27. Haleyville and Cullman. Birmingham sitting at 30. Those are at 5 o'clock. Traveling today, there's your snow problems, and not really heavy snow. These are winter weather advisories, not winter storm watches or warnings up for much of Missouri, Illinois, Iowa, Indiana, down into Kentucky, Louisville, Lexington, and down into Tennessee around Nashville. And that would be mainly for late tonight and tomorrow. And those will be ultimately extended onto the east with time. Here's a QPF map, the overall precipitation for the next 5 days, valid through Tuesday evening at 7 o'clock. And it's suggesting about 1/2 inch for this part of the state. I don't know if we see that much. Just a little light rain followed by some light snow. And again, it looks like the big East Coast snow threat is just off the board, barely. Let's take a look. This is the 06Z GFS at noon today. And again, you can see the two parts of our system, one over West Texas and one around Omaha. And down below that, light snow breaks out over Missouri and Iowa, Minnesota. That'll be moving east into Kentucky and points north, and rain below that. But around here, we'll have a great day today. Partly sunny with highs in the mid-50s, exactly where we should be. All right, tomorrow, noon, GFS. The freeze line at 850, about 5,000 feet off the ground, is a little below Birmingham, and you can see precipitation very, very limited here on the GFS. And really with that Gulf low you see far to the south, down there below New Orleans, the really significant stuff with that more than likely will stay south of here, we think. And remember, there's always the door open for a surprise, but we're not expecting the main light snow from that Gulf low. As you'll see, it's mainly from the upper forcing coming in from the northern branch. There's the North American Mesoscale model, the NAM, at noon. Pretty much the same idea, although it's got a better shot at snow up to the north, where the GFS had nothing. And again, it's got a weak Gulf low way south of New Orleans, very same position. But here's the deal. I honestly think this will be correct. This is the higher resolution RPM model, Rapid Precision Mesoscale. And you can't get this online. This is internal only for us. And this is valid at 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. And really, all the models have come in colder for tomorrow. But you can see it's got light snow over much of North Alabama, back in the North Mississippi. And this is not really heavy stuff. It's just light snow. But understand, we have seen some of the forecast soundings that give a little bit of cape, a little bit of instability, which would mean snow showers. And if we get snow showers, you know that can make the ground white in a heartbeat. And these snow showers and flurries can last longer than you think. We all know that, and so I really do think they're going to extend into Sunday morning. So I wouldn't be shocked if some people up in Lookout and Sand Mountain woke up Sunday morning and had the ground white with a 1/2 inch or 1 inch of snow up there. But for most people over North Alabama, a dusting will be the deal, up to 1/2 inch in spots. There could be some exceptions for the high terrain where they get a little more up there. So the bottom line is we're not going to change much. Now here's the accumulated snow graphic off the RPM. And this is where you got that good blanket of snow on the ground, and you can see it does bring it down into northeast Alabama's Jackson County, Cherokee County. Get some right below the Tennessee River that might be some lake effect snow, the model is suggesting, down into Winston and Cullman counties. So, again, I just don't see a lot of reason to change this. We first drew this a few days ago. The numbers might be a little too high for North Georgia, but I do think that some of the high terrain up there could pick up 2 inches, and certainly Gatlinburg and the Great Smokies, you might get some considerably bigger numbers up in there. But again, for most people that are in our television market, a dusting, and that means no accumulation you can measure, to 1/2 inch. And we'll go to Sunday, and again, that is a really vigorous trough. And I'm telling you now, I think we need to mention snow flurries more than during the pre-dawn hours Sunday. I think we need to mention them really through much of the day Sunday. Very cold. We won't get out of the 30s with that look. Here's Monday. We'll be clear and cold. Monday morning will be very cold. We'll start the day probably in the 17 to 22 degree range, and the same thing on Tuesday morning. But we start to warm up Tuesday afternoon. There's Wednesday. Rain breaks out to the west. And Thursday, got a trough forming over the west. That's a pattern flip. And all of a sudden, we're kind of mild and showery and wet on Thursday of next week, with a deep, deep surface low developing on the lee of the Rockies. And that's a blizzard for the mountains of Colorado down into the mountains of Arizona, Flagstaff. They'll be slammed with that. Also heavy snow up north over the Dakotas and Wyoming and Montana. And then Friday, that low moves up to near Kansas City. And again, that might be a severe weather setup down here. So again, we'll have to watch for the possibility of a severe weather outbreak on New Year's Eve. And then on the 1st, it's on by 1111 as the surface low moves up toward the Great Lakes. And on the 2nd of January, just kind of cool and dry, cold, but not harshly cold. Check the end of the forecast on the 8th. Start to see some evidence of cold air coming down the pike again. Look at that 1,044 millibar high. That's cold. And again, around here, that doesn't look excessively cold for us, but the cold is knocking on the door. And let's check the Arctic Oscillation. This is a cousin of the North Atlantic Oscillation. And you see it goes neutral at the 1st of January, then it starts to go down again. So we're just having a hard time keeping that in positive territory. So after a little warm up there with maybe some storms around New Year's Day, things could go cold again maybe later in January for sure. Well, that's it for me until 2011. Thanks for your support with our blog and the videos here. We just thank you so much for being part of our family. Hope you and your family have a blessed, meaningful, and Merry Christmas this year. Brian Peters will have the videos all the way through sometime in 2011 when I come back. It'll be like January 3rd. Have a great day. Merry Christmas and God bless.
Each day there are new stories to tell about the people who live here and the place we call home.
All of the faces that I see, all of the places close to me, they're all part of all the best things about home.
Sharing your stories on ABC 3340, Alabama's news leader.